There we go. Now we're recording.
Hold up.
Hey!
We were rocking till the wheels fall off.
Hey, wait.
We don't.
Oh, I just
Play.
I was thinking what did we do last year at SHOT Show that was something that you kept doing that noise or something? I mean, you kept going boop.
Oh yeah. Every time we get in an elevator, we'd just be standing there and I'd go, up.
like
I'd just be standing in the corner, just like, up, 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 up.
So what are you doing this year then?
I don't know.
We have to come up with something.
Gonna wear a helmet everywhere.
Just randomly.
Just walk around with the helmet I got for the G&G competition. Bup, 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 bup.
And just ram it into things. And then George would be like, no, Matt, come here. Use your inside voice.
Go to the Cry Precision booth. Like, hi, can we do an interview? This is our host. Bup, 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 bup.
And then
So tell us about your new Arctic cries. Bup, 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 bup.
Dude, can you move the mic off the table?
Sorry, I don't know why that was there.
bup, 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 bup.
It's gone now.
So now you're just gonna go in the elevator and go, hey, wait,
Hold up.
Hold up.
hey.
No, yeah, you gotta be like, hold up and see how many people just go, hey. Or just in the main convention hall, just hold up.
I don't think
Jet
anybody...
from across the hall is just like, hey!
What's up, guys? Insert.
Hi.
Welcome back to the Not So
Oh.
Round Table. We're joined once again by Ryan himself.
He's also the fantastic soul who's taken over the editing project for this. So that way George doesn't have to do it anymore.
Yay! Yay! I'm gonna insert a children's screaming voice.
Yeah. Just take if you guys ever played Roller Coaster Tycoon, there was always that same laugh track that would come in every time you'd scroll over a crowd.
Yeah.
Put that in.
Okay.
And they always get. And if they like the roller coaster, they get out. And they
Yeah.
And then if not, they would just
Then there's
throw
puke
up
everywhere. You're like, oh, I gotta send my damn sweeper guy around.
Did you see the roller coaster tycoon train of hell? It just spirals around the entire map and just goes closer and closer to the center.
So what happens when it ends? Just
I don't know.
Nothing. Just
I
the guy
guess.
gets off and just
Do you ever trap your guests?
yeah,
These little things are just like, where do we go?
I always like to start the roller coaster, then you just magically just delete a piece.
Yeah, and then it flies
Well, I
off.
always build a bridge across water, and then drop the bridge out from under them, and just have a bunch of people in the water.
Well, you can always pick them up and drop them in the water.
Yeah, that's it. You could just drown.
But if
them
you
like
did that, you get too many lawsuits in your park or something like that. I remember.
I mean, at
I
that
haven't
point,
played
who
this game in
cares?
forever.
It was a great game.
Oh, the best part is getting one of those roller coasters that shoots straight up.
Oh, yeah.
But then set it to max power and then delete a couple sections with and seeing how far you can get it.
And then everybody says your park was too dangerous to use it anymore, and you're like, well,
Yes.
yeah.
But I was always too
that's when
lazy
you go
to-
cheat codes.
I was always too lazy to build my own park, so I'd
Get a pre-built one.
yeah, get the pre-built one and then just change everything, and then the ratings would go down.
You messed with the system.
I messed with something that was already
Literally
You
working.
used to have been really good at that game. That game
I
was
was
really
terrible.
easy to get.
I was terrible.
I was terrible at it too.
That game was easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Airsoft.
Not So Round Table, Airsoft
Yeah.
fans. You guys know how it works. You comment in the comments section in previous videos. Those get collected and then put in this helm of reasoning. Ryan, because you're our guest, would you like to start us off?
Yeah.
You seem so happy to be here today. It's because of the Red Bull, isn't
It's
it?
a weird day today.
I haven't had any caffeine today, so.
Okay, Matthew McCain asks, Dear Insert, I feel like I'm getting out the feel or groove for Airsoft, like I'm not into it anymore. How can I change that? P.S. Keep up the good work and love the show. Thanks.
Thanks.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a good question for all three of us here. I think we've all three gone either
consecutively,
are going through it or
burned out on Airsoft.
burned out on Airsoft. It happens.
Well, keeping interested, after you've been doing it for 14 years is...
Yeah.
or 13
Yeah,
years is-
yeah, no.
I mean, maybe it's I don't know. I find that having different hobbies to rotate through helps a lot. So if I get tired of Airsoft stuff, I go and work on my photography or something like that, or mess around with another hobby, just because that variety keeps things new. And then once I get tired of that, I come back to that. I don't think it's. I mean, if you genuinely don't enjoy Airsoft anymore, maybe it's time to take a break for a little bit, just because. Yeah, sometimes that happens with everybody. You can't, or most people can't do the same thing, their entire life and not get tired of it. I feel like that happens for just
I
about
think
every
maybe
hobby.
keeping it in moderation too. I think maybe
Yeah.
some people just go full blown, they're just gonna go full blown at it for a while, do everything that they want to do, and then all of a sudden they're just like they're burnt out, and then what they do is they do it to the extreme. So they go, getting out of airsoft sale, they sell everything, and then like 6 months later they decide they want to get back into it.
Well,
and then,
yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, when you first start like going out with a girl and you hang out like every day, and then you realize that really you're just tired of seeing that person every day. Just don't see them every day. You know, don't play airsoft every day.
Play hard to get with airsoft.
Yeah, it's not the way it works with girls, because you're eventually going to get married where you will see that person every day. Ask the married guy. I know you two are just
far off for me.
I know you two are just gonna marry each other, but I mean,
yeah, you know, we'll get to that point.
So the great thing about airsoft too is that like you can put your stuff away and come back to it years from now, and it'll still be, you know, the same.
For the most part.
And, well, I mean, you can still play with it.
The game will be different.
Yeah.
I'm sure in a few years than it is now.
Space softing. But you may also, you know, spice it up in terms of maybe going to a new field, or maybe going airsoft with like a different group of friends, or maybe even changing your play style. Like if you only do CQB and you're getting burnt out on CQB, you might try milsim or vice versa. You know, like change up the style of play. You may find that you like something.
Travel to something, do something completely different that you know, like. You could do it on the cheap, you know. You really can. Like, you could drive, you know, I'd say there's at least an event for every about 10 hours of driving, maybe more, depending on where you live. I mean, if you live in, like, if you live in, like, North Dakota or something like that, or Wyoming, you might have a harder time than, well, not Wyoming, actually, but you should be able to find a cool event somewhere where you could go and experience it, and you could drive there, camp, and you could, you know, save some money.
Well, even if you're not in the U.S., maybe you're in Europe. Like the countries are so easy to travel between. I'm sure you could find an event, you know, that for now. Whoa.
Politics.
All right.
We're not going
next,
there.
Should we go next question?
Let's do it.
We ruined it with politics, apparently.
This sort of reminds me of McBain.
Born Gaming asks, Dear Insert, what are your opinions of MREs?
Roger was just eating an MRE earlier because he hadn't had breakfast. I think, Roger,
really?
You had like a muffin top? You had a muffin top and a oatmeal cookie.
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw him under the bus. But
he's there.
I mean, it was, it was topical.
Here's the bus Matt's driving, and we'll yell at him later.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I like MREs.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some are really good.
Yeah. The cool thing is we do have the MREs that are come from, you know, there are Evike branded ones, meaning that, but we just decided the content that was in them. They are the same MREs that you can get from XMRE or any of the other companies from the DoD. You can't get military MREs because you can get them, but here's the misconception about why MREs are not sold publicly, the military ones, is because they're not FDA approved, because they have so many calories in them that they can't approve them by the FDA.
That's hilarious.
Which, you know, and then maybe the military wants to be able to keep the hold of them. Like, I don't know.
Good enough for government work.
Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, anyway, where I was going. Okay.
Well, you know, like if somebody has, like, you know, if somebody has an issue with it, like maybe they consume, you know, too many, or something goes wrong with a health-wise, like who do you blame? Because, you know, you're not supposed to be buying them anyway, so it's a way of them limiting, you know, people's exposure to them if they're not in the military, where they can't get.
I just wouldn't live off them for that long. Like,
no.
They're never designed for that. You know, I mean, even in the field, they try to make sure they get regular personnel, regular good meals.
In case
I mean, really, MREs are only designed for when you're out on patrol.
Yes.
And you have to, you know, get food, and that's what they were designed to do. But if you are just sitting at home and you have access to regular food, why not just consume regular food? I mean, that's why Uncrustables exist.
Yeah,
I mean, the one Uncrustables. That's a good idea.
So anyway, back to the Evike MREs. So those ones now come with the heaters. That you know, we're now updating them, and new flavors are coming in and stuff like that. But those are really good. And another update is we are going to be bringing in Mountain House.
Oh, nice.
Those taste good.
Yeah,
they're the freeze-dried.
Yeah, the freeze-dried ones. And now the Mountain House stuff, I've had it, and it is lighter, so it's good for backpacking. But it is freeze-dried. But it is a little bit harder to cook. Like, you know, an MRE, you just put it in the heater and just kind of heat it up, and then you eat it. Like, you know, it's
water.
Well, the Mountain House ones don't come with a heater. You need to use boiling water.
You use water, and you use a jet boil, and then you or any type of stove. You heat it. Then you have to mix it, let it sit for a certain amount of time. It could undercook, it could overcook. Yeah. Like, but if you get that mix right, it is really good.
Mountain House stuff is pretty good.
Yeah,
as far as freeze-dried food goes.
Yeah.
You know.
And so there's a little more prep when you go with the more commercially available products like the freeze-dried backpacking-oriented stuff. But ultimately the flavors are better, and they're going to be a more balanced meal instead of being very calorie heavy.
Dense.
Yeah.
But I didn't even know we were going to be carrying those. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah. So
Finding out new things on our show.
Yeah, so we'll have those soon. I don't know
Company that I
when.
work
I
at.
can't give you an ETA, but we will have those, and
Cool.
both are good options for eating in the field.
If you do camp or backpack and you don't have a jet boil yet,
Better buy one.
you should get one. They're the coolest things since sliced bread.
Since
I love my
that's
jet boil.
Pretty intense.
Yeah.
It's so nice. I mean, the stove that Lauren has isn't that bad.
Pocket rocket or
Yeah.
Ned, that is not what it's called.
no, the NSR pocket rocket.
All right, so next question.
Wait, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
Xave asks, Dear Insert, are any of you going to Berger next year?
Berget?
Berget.
Berget?
Is that it? Berget?
Just a big European
That's
event,
the one
right?
in Sweden.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Sadly, no, we will not be going.
Have we ever traveled outside?
We
the
haven't
US?
been able to go to Europe yet. Maybe one day. But
Well, there will be a representative from Evike going to Iowa this year for sure, or IWA.
I heard Iowa. And I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, no.
And
that's
then
what I
like,
said. I mean,
What's in Iowa?
And then eventually, I'm sure Matt will go somewhere. Oh, but then again, Matt has gone to Taiwan to represent.
yeah,
America.
Yeah,
You represent America.
7th in the world. Oh, and I went to Hawaii. That's still in the
Yeah,
United
he didn't.
States.
He didn't really go
yeah.
for work either.
No, but I played Airsoft when I was there.
Yeah, I know, but you were on vacation.
Shout out to the guys in Hawaii that I
Those
played
guys.
with. Yeah.
Those guys.
cool.
That was.
I haven't talked to them in a while. I feel bad. I need to talk to them.
You should.
Yeah.
Hannibal Smith asks,
Kawaii.
great
Kawaii
questions.
Airsoft.
What's the
You
brand
don't really
socks?
talk to me, so I mean,
What is going on
Whoa.
here?
Matt never
Whoa.
messages me or anything like that.
gonna
Says
slide out
hi.
of
He
this
just shows up to
conversation.
work and be like, hey. Then he says hey, and he asks for his like weekly update. Yeah, he ignores me.
boy.
He calls Ryan all the time though.
Yeah, he specifically calls me.
Like
and no one else calls
he
me.
called Ryan while Ryan was in my car while we were going to get lunch. He's like, "Hey, what's going on?" He's like, you're like talking to him.
it was
You're like,
last-
"Yeah, it's raining," and you're complaining about how you washed your guys'
Oh
car.
yeah, yeah. You were
Yeah.
he just
See?
calls me and I get this call. I'm like, hey, how's it going? I just washed my car. I'm like, oh, okay.
It was raining. I was
Yeah.
upset.
See, and then I'm driving. I'm like, "Oh, who are you talking to?" "Oh, that's Matt." I'm like, "Oh, cool." So Matt calls you to say hi.
Well, I wasn't going to call you and complain about just washing my
Yeah.
car. You would've-
I understand that, but like I said, you never call me to complain about anything. So I mean, not that I want you to complain about anything, but
Hey, when you're editing this, do you have that triggered meme?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Done. It's been going this entire time. Way ahead of it. Anyway, Hannibal Smith asks, great questions. What's the brand socks you guys use in Airsoft Milsim?
Dude, Hannibal
Socks.
is on point with a lot of good
yeah,
questions.
no, that guy
I
like
see you
he's
comment
like our
all the
moderator.
time,
He's like
man.
our free moderator for insert.
Every
Hannibal's
video.
giving great advice to other people. He always asks interesting
He always tells
questions.
people that they've asked a question that's already been answered.
He's on top of it.
Yeah, he's like our moderator that we don't even really do anything for.
I'd like to think that
Putting
it's-
it that way.
that like Hannibal Smith is like the Liam Neeson version
Yes.
of Hannibal Smith.
Yeah, for sure.
So
You're
it's
like Liam
really
Neeson.
Liam Neeson who's watching us.
All right. Anyway, what's the question?
What socks?
What kind
do
of
you
socks
use?
do we use for
Socks.
Airsoft Milsim?
Just use socks.
Just hiking socks. 511s. I've used their high tops.
Mm-hmm.
I have a bunch of those. I ordered like a bunch of them to use them for hockey, other stuff. So, yeah, backpacking socks. Anything that's got a decent amount of
Cushion.
cushion.
Okay, so if I might add,
Okay, yeah, Matt's gonna chime in with
so
his
when it
amazing-
comes to socks, especially because you're doing a lot of running for extended periods of time, much like you would be spending a lot of time in boots if you were hiking and things, you want something that wicks a lot of moisture so that you don't get foot fungal issues or unnecessary fatigue and things, and maybe something with a little bit more padding and cushion to them. I recommend going with a sock with a high merino wool content. Merino wool is that wicking material. The great thing about wool, too, is they'll keep you warm even if they're wet. It's one of the amazing things about nature. Wool will keep you warm even if it's soaking wet. So I'd go with a sock that has quite a bit of padding, and make sure that you're buying your boots with that in mind. The socks that I use are from REI. They're like I think they're like a 60 or 80% merino wool. They're super comfortable, and they have like some compression in the center where your arch is, so they're very good at supporting as well as being comfortable.
That's a really good idea. I mean, I never got into the socks as much as knowing what I was buying. I know that they're wool, and but that's I just learned something about socks.
But now you know why they work so well for you.
Yeah, yeah. What about you?
I'm just normal.
I
The
like
socks-
my plain white socks.
Yeah, pretty much.
I like plain white socks.
I
And my tennis shoes.
very rarely do the milsim. So.
That's about to change.
Oh.
Ryan's going to a bunch of events this year.
Okay, that's cool.
Don't be so excited, Ryan.
No, it'll be cool. Yeah, milsim.
Ryan doesn't really.
I mean,
no, Ryan
milsim's
enjoys it, but not like.
It's not my first choice of things to do, but
Yeah.
it'll be interesting. It's always nice to be out of your comfort zone and like trying something different.
Yeah,
Travel.
I think you'll have a blast.
It's always fun rooming with Matt.
Phrase it like that. Out of all the potential things that could happen in milsim, man. But rooming with Matt.
Prepare yourself.
Okay. Ben Thomas asks. This is completely airsoft related. Opinion on DMRs. What is your opinion?
Pretty useful. I mean, depends on the application. I mean, really, like.
Let's talk about milsim and DMRs.
I mean, yeah, if you have restrictions on your squad, like if you can have like one DMR that can shoot at a higher FPS for this particular squad or whatever, yeah, they can be useful. But I think a lot of it depends on the actual user and how much you've spent into like actually upgrading the gun and doing it right, as opposed to just like throwing the longest barrel that you can put on it and then just
Putting a scope on it.
Yeah, doing that and then it just really depends.
Wait, so you mean you
And it
just
has
don't-
to have the
you just don't
correct
throw a long
money.
barrel at it?
Yeah, do some more things.
It has to have the
besides
correct
that.
money put into it
Yeah.
to be really good DMR.
Yeah.
And to be a DMR at most events, well, milsim events, they've got to be semi-only, right?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
So you gotta like modify it in some way or like put a lockout on the full auto. I mean, it's doable. It's really sort of purpose built though, just because if you need to function for that role in that specific sense, they work. They're just not as versatile as some other platforms.
What is the easiest way to modify your gun to be semi-only off of?
To be semi-only, like on an M4. I believe it is if you put a physical block on the selector switch. So you can do it in two ways. I've seen a physical block being put on the outside of the receiver so that it cannot physically select into full auto. And you can also add a block on the selector plate on the back of it so that it doesn't pull all the way into full auto. Both of those ways I've seen used, but or actually, and you can also modify the actual selector plate when you cut out a section of it so that when it pushes back and pushes the cutoff lever out of the way, it doesn't do that anymore. It still allows the cutoff lever to apply pressure at all times. So there's some ways to do it. Other platforms, it's the same idea.
Just different execution.
Just different different. You'll work around whatever platform you got. If you have a lot of these newer guns though have these like electronic trigger control systems. A lot of the HPA guns have electronics inside that'll allow you to do a lockout. Although depending on the event that you go to, they might not allow that.
They might want like a physical...
so that it's not easily changeable in game. But I know that that's possible. And if you're being honest about it, I feel like a lot of places are pretty cool with it. It's just up to the organizer of the event or field or whatever.
I think the important thing too is much like a sniper, a DMR has an advantage if you're going for a specific role, and as a squad or team, you've got to use that person to their full advantage. So this is somebody who's going to be able to shoot potentially farther distances, or be able to engage people farther out, or to suppress people that are farther out, or even to do some recon or scouting. And so using them in that role instead of just a plain rifleman that is now limited to in their engagement distance, because DMRs are oftentimes limited to farther engagement distances because they're bigger, they're higher FPS. Then I think you'll have more fun if you're playing to the role rather than just being a standard rifleman. All right.
Cool.
All right.
Yarp.
Next up, we've got Candor Champion.
Candor Champion?
Candor Champion. Hey, Insert, have you guys ever thought about doing a legitimate Russian kit? Uniform, LBE vest, and all that fun stuff, as I noticed you guys went Rust 4 at the last Milsim West event. Well, I didn't make it to the last Milsim West event, so I defer to George for this. Technically, we weren't Rust 4, right? You guys were
we were
the militia.
Cossack militia, but we were on Rust 4 Force. Or Rust 4 side.
I mean, some of us have access to the legitimate Russian camo. However, most of us has not invested large amounts of money into more aspects of
It's pricey.
impressionism, because It's pricey. I mean, like getting replica helmets, getting all that kind of stuff is.
Or that real stuff that you get from that one site, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I mean,
pricey.
even still getting the replica like helmets and stuff like that, and some of the helmets don't really function as well in terms of for the purpose you're trying to use it for, or the vests are kind of pricey. Some can be, so.
So it seems to me, from an outside perspective, if you were going to build a Russian loadout, that might be something that you're doing full time as an airsofter. Then, if that's the loadout that you want to do, as opposed to being one of many loadouts. Although I know several people that have a Russian loadout in addition to other.
Well, I mean, even like jets and like jets loadout's pretty cheap for a Russian loadout. You know, it's using a vest
jumpsuit, right?
Yeah, it's just the jumpsuit. It's the partisan jumpsuit like I have, and then it would be like a specific chest rig. I forget what it was called, but it's in multicam, and it's used a lot, by certain members of. I mean, I'm not quoting anything. I don't really know, but I know that's a popular vest among the Milsim West crowd. So I would assume that has some application there.
Yeah.
But in terms of like getting like a full VDV outfit or whatever, I just think it would be really expensive, and you would have to be investing into it full time.
I want to make a French Foreign Legion loadout.
The high shorts.
Yeah, with high shorts.
It's cool. It's just kind of pricey.
It's okay. You go airsoft it with T-Rex, then you guys wear shorts together.
Yes.
Silence. Yeah.
T-Rex, do the French Foreign Legion with me, man.
My other complaint about a lot of the Russian kit is like I see a lot of what I assume are fairly legit like vests and chest rigs and stuff. They're pretty for me, like the features on them seem like kind of bare bones. Like especially for what you pay, especially if you're gonna like dump that much money on like what is like legit Russian kit. It's just like, man, that's a lot of money for something that doesn't hold anything. Like I saw one dude that had like this full looked like a what's that one like an interceptor vest sort of thing with like the crotch guard and everything.
And it doesn't have much
like,
space.
It didn't have anything on it. He was running it like slick. Like I didn't see any like molly attachments or anything like that. And like for my money. Like, that's the biggest turnoff for a lot of the Russian kit is, like, I can spend the same amount of money or less on, like, NATO-style gear or whatever, and it's more modular, it holds more stuff, it's more practical for me, so.
Ryan's very practical.
And you could always go look at Larry Vickers' visit when he went over to Russia, and he was, doing with members of Russian's Alpha unit. They're all wearing multicam.
superior American engineering.
And putting EOTechs on their guns and using PBS-14s and Rhino mounts. So they're all using USA stuff that they're supposed to not be able to procure, but they do it anyway.
Well, that's because we leave it all when we're done somewhere.
Yeah.
Next question.
Costs too much to ship it back.
Wait, who asked that one?
That was me. Or no.
Wait.
That was you.
You pulled it out.
All right, so Ryan can do this one. I'll do the last one.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, so Ryan will do this one. I'll do the last one.
Yay. Hannibal Smith again says, Serpa holsters need to be available on Evike.com.
Soon.
Okay, statement.
Okay.
Soon, Hannibal, relax.
Soon.
You got 2 questions in
Black
one
Hawk,
video,
here's the thing is Black Hawk is one of those things that's really hard because
they don't deal direct, right?
They don't deal direct. Yeah, exactly.
They deal from like a third party like distributor that we then have to buy from. So just increases the price for you guys. Like,
we also have G-code though, so.
I mean, we have other options for like level 3 retention
I'll
stuff.
honestly have my own. I have my own reservations about Serpa holsters in general. I just don't think that they're a good holster, and I think we actually have better options right now, being G-code, Blaytech, Safariland. I think all three
even
of
the
those.
Matrix stuff, like if you need like a cheap alternative, like the Matrix stuff, like
it
works pretty well.
I still think if you need a quality one, that those three in the same price, like they're maybe not even that much higher than Blackhawk, is pretty good quality, as especially Safariland and Blaytech.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a lot of it has to do with price too. Like just, I mean, for my money, I could be getting a lot of.
I mean, I would never use a Blackhawk Serpa with real pistol, just because there's so many there's
ADs in your
there's
leg.
Instructors who seriously will not allow you to wear one in a class because they're worried about NDs.
Yeah.
And then for airsoft though, whatever.
But I've still heard stories of people shooting themselves in the leg with airsoft and have then on from that point decided, I'm not going to use this for a real gun. Like,
yeah,
an ND is a negligent discharge. When you don't mean it to go off.
When you don't mean it to go off.
All right.
I meant to do
Finishing strong.
This is from the Lumberjack Army.
That's a good name.
Dear insert, Vietnam-themed milsim events. Thoughts? John Liu used to do one. He hasn't done it in years. And what's interesting about it is I remember talking to him about it, and he was saying that people really want to do it, but no one, a bunch of people say I really want to do it, but then when it comes time to like, okay, we're doing
Ponying up
it,
for the money, yeah.
ponying up for the money, making sure no one does it.
Yeah.
For me, okay, so I would be interested in doing it if everybody was in period correct camo using period correct guns.
And that's what this was. But the problem is like people wouldn't own up to it. Like people wouldn't be like, oh, can I wear this or can I use this? Like, no, you can't. Like this is like, well, then I don't want to do it. It's just like, then why'd you say that you wanted to do it if you didn't want to commit? It's kind of like the Russian thing. Like, you know, like if you're gonna do the Russian look, like go full blown if you want to do that. But you don't have to. You have to at least meet the minimum requirements for the Milsim West games to be Russian.
Yeah.
You know, but it's not even that hard. Like as long you could still wear whatever chest rig you want, but as long as you have the camo and as long as you have an AK, you're considered Russian. And it's the same thing. It's just like as long as you can field an M16 of that era and be in.
Well, but remember, you've also got to have an opposing force.
Yes, I'm not. Yes, okay. And like I said, we were going to go to that game. We were all getting. We were all going to go get. My friend who has access to scrubs was going to get a bunch of black scrubs. And then we had everybody had G-Com vests that we've had from military surplus stores, and everybody's gonna run around with old school AKs 47s, not 74s, none of that fancy stuff.
The wood
it was gonna be
stuff
all wood. And
That actually sounds really awesome.
it was gonna be a lot of fun, and then it got canceled.
John, if you're listening, let's restart the Vietnam game.
I think it's possible. You just have to have people who are willing to. And the thing is, you can go. For example, you can go. Like, you know, an NVA or, you know, that style pretty cheaply. I mean, we were doing this for under...
I mean, it's
like,
a
literally,
guerrilla fighting
we were
force.
doing this
That
for
is
the
like
whole head to toe for under $50. The
cheap.
event was more than $50. We were doing,
Well, I mean, that's assuming that you already had the AK.
yes, assuming that you already had the
Okay,
AK,
so
which we all
Just
do.
include that in the price of the ticket. Like, they should just, like, pre-select,
Issue
like,
you black scrubs.
Yeah. Do that.
But then, the thing is, the other side of it, the U.S. side of it would be a lot more expensive because you have to go and find, you know, you have to go find actually, finding most of the gear wouldn't be
Alice
hard.
rigs are pretty cheap.
Yeah, Alice gear is, you can find that at the surplus
At
store.
every
for cheap.
surplus store.
Yeah, for so cheap. However,
Jungle boots, super cheap. OD green,
the
you know,
whatevers.
camos,
The
cheap.
helmet.
the helmet would be the
Kinda
hard
helmet.
part.
Like,
I think I'd be okay with like a modern helmet
No.
if you weren't allowed to put any attachments on it. You know what I mean? Like
You could, okay, for
Or if you
example,
just,
let's
like,
say,
wrap it in
let's say,
woodland
yeah,
right, or
let's
like
say
if you were
wrapped
forced
in
to like
woodland camo or
yeah,
something.
like put like a net around
Like
it.
yeah.
Like I'd be okay with that because you know finding a Vietnam era like helmet would.
But you
would
could
be more
definitely find a
difficult.
Vietnam era helmet cover.
Right.
And you could put it over a somewhat modern day helmet.
right,
fit?
like a Mitch or something.
It should
does
fit,
it
yeah.
fit? Oh,
Should.
Well, no,
I
I'm
mean,
specific to
I'm
it.
just
I don't
saying,
know,
like,
like, there's-
as long as
there's
you couldn't
people-
use like an NVG mount or something.
yeah, exactly. No
Just one
NVG
dude
mount
out in the-
visible, no arc rails,
Right.
no,
right.
yeah,
So
none of that.
no attachments.
Yeah.
You couldn't run like a GoPro.
And you have to run it with the chin straps off.
Oh yeah.
with, like, cigarettes and
with cigarettes and
like, bullets everywhere
and,
and, like-
peace symbols and
Yeah.
whatever else you want to draw on your helmet. It has to be done that way.
It's just Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah,
With airsoft
born
guns.
to kill. Like,
lots of screaming and
Huh.
airsoft napalm. Just
Oh no. Oh no.
and so you have to use a VN. You have to use 20 round mags.
That'd actually be really cool.
20-round mags.
No, the
Oh.
VN. Like everyone has to use a VN.
the VN, or you could use you could use
M14.
you could use an M14. What's up?
The BAR wasn't that something?
Very limited, I think. Like,
No, it was
just-
used like by the early NVA and the or Vietnam Army. I just said the same thing, and
They also had the Stoner.
yeah, the Stoner.
Did they?
Yeah.
63,
With
yeah.
63.
And then you could use the Car 15.
Car 15. Those
Car
are cool.
15.
Those are neat.
Yeah.
What else? Some as well. AKs and SVDs. I mean, that's op 4. But
PKMs? RPKs for sure, right?
RPK, I think.
yeah, RPK. I don't know about PKM. I feel like PKM's more recent.
Yeah, I think you're right.
What if you?
I don't know. I
Oh,
would just run around with, like-
M60s. Yeah,
Yes,
get some.
M60s.
Get some out the side of a helicopter.
Like I said, John, if you're out there, man, let's reboot this thing. We'll push it. Well, guys, thanks again for joining us for this episode of the Not So Round Table. Ryan, thanks for coming on once
Thanks
again
for
and answering
inviting me.
questions. It was fun. If you guys have any future questions, go ahead and type them in the comments section down below. Those will go into the Helm of Reasoning, and we'll see you later and stuff.
Soon.
Woo!
Shot show. Soon.
Shot show.
Actually, Shot show will be next week.
Is that next?
This will be going up
Oh.
on Wednesday. And then Shot
So
show.
the next time you see it, well, no, we'll be filming one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but still, Shot show.
Yep.
Shot show.
Yep.